Welcome back to the third segment of Bernama Today. Fabian Nasir is together with Alex Yoong. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Thank you. Very good to be here.
Yeah. You came quite early actually. You're here on time, and you know not many people could get here on time because of the jam. I know today in the morning Bangsa actually had a little bit of a jam, but today he's here. We're going to talk about the man that wears many hats. He's a race car driver. He is also a water skier. He is a presenter. He is a daddy. And what else? What hats do you wear still?
No, I think it's enough hats.
Too many, right, for a person to handle?
No, I think whole life it's always been about trying to fit into people's perceptions and trying to move on and trying to do new things. So it's my choice. I'm quite happy with it.
You as a current state of your life, you're very happy with what you've done.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty content with everything that's gone on. What can I say? I mean, all my experiences have shaped me as to the person I am today, and I don't regret anything, and I wouldn't change anything that's happened to me in the past.
Right. Alex, you actually shot up to fame when you actually was acquired to actually join Minardi F1. And right after 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken, you left and you ventured into another sport, right? There was also the A1 team where you won 2 races, if I'm not mistaken. 4 races, sorry. And you got into KTM F1 as well. Are you still with them?
Yes, that's right. That's pretty much one of the most interesting roles I have right now, which I'm still with Caterham Formula 1 team, looking after the young drivers. So we look after the driver development.
Right.
And Caterham is actually expanding its driver development program. We've got quite a few good drivers. Actually, one very good Malaysian, Weiron Tan. So Weiron is actually racing in Europe in Formula Renault. But you know, he's won quite a few races this year, and for a Malaysian who's doing his first year racing in Europe, it's creating quite a stir.
Oh, okay. And Caterham has been a contract since 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since
and until it's been renewed until today.
Yes.
How about in Malaysia? Any racing scenes around here or the Southeast Asian region? Let's not talk about Malaysia.
Well, I think Southeast Asia has a bit of a lull really in motorsports for a good decade and a half now. We've lost all our good Grade 2 tracks. Of course, we got fantastic facilities at Sepang. But that's a Grade 1 circuit in Formula 1. It's very big, almost a bit too bright and beautiful for grassroots racing.
Right.
So we used to have 5 good tracks around Southeast Asia. Now I think I think Johor's fallen into almost disuse, and quite a few others have disappeared off the area.
Not maintained, so to say.
Well, you've lost them. Some like we had a great circuit at Batu Tiga and Shah Alam. That's now housing estate. There's used to be a track in Indonesia. It's kind of not used at all.
Okay.
We've got one track left in Zhuhai, southern China, which is pretty much the only Grade 2 circuit we have in the region now.
Okay, and Sepang is the only one that's running perfectly right now.
Yes, but we need more smaller tracks to try and build grassroots racing.
Right. How about the ones in USJ? You know, right?
Yes. The go-karting scene, however, is quite healthy.
Right.
There's quite a few good go-kart tracks, even around the Klang Valley. So that's looking quite healthy. We've got a lot of young kids coming through go-karting, and like I said, that's helping us as well because we have a driver in our program. We've obviously got Jasmine Jafar, who's doing very well in Europe as well. Hopefully he'll be in Formula 1 in a couple of years. And we've got all these other younger kids who are go-karting. But these young kids, they want to go to Formula 1. So because they want to go to Formula 1, send them to Europe as early as possible to get the right experience. Because they have to learn the culture. But if you're talking about building up the infrastructure for motorsports in the region around here, that still needs work.
Okay, what do you mean by needs work? I mean, what's lacking in the facilities here? Is it the culture that we have, or is it the facilities that we have?
No, we've got great facilities at Sepang, but we need some smaller venues to try and help bring on the growth. And I'm not just talking about Malaysia, I'm talking about Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines as well. So let's see how that goes.
Well, racing in the European side of things. So I watch a lot of Top Gear. I love Top Gear's track. I see, they can convert from nothing to something. You see, right? And they bring drivers in or celebrities whatsoever, give them a car, and they let them run around the tracks. Now, in England, they've been racing like this. They can race cheap cars, they can race mid-sized cars, they can race almost anything, even trucks and all that. But it doesn't happen here.
Yeah, well, you need to have that sort of cheap racing to get people in.
Okay.
Even go-karting can be very expensive. But, you know, there are a lot of young adults like yourself who'd love to get into racing, but they don't really have the avenues for it. And if there were, you know, converting a go-kart track or even a car park into a small track and just having some good grassroots racing, you would have more people coming in. You know?
There are weekend tracks, I mean weekend events in Sepang, because I know a friend of mine who actually races his so-called souped-up Satria around the Sepang circuit. He's quite good. But you know, end of the day, where does these people go? He loves racing, and this guy's been racing for what? Years, I think 3-4 years. Done his car, spent quite a bit of fortune there. 50,000-60,000 is a lot of money.
Well, we still need to try and create more racing. You know, mid-90s we had quite a bit of local racing. You could build your own race cars and race them.
Doesn't happen here.
Not at the moment. But you know, there are some championships around. You know, like I'm doing something with Audi this weekend.
Right.
MME weekend.
Okay.
So there's a big 12-hour race at Sepang. So that's why I've got the Audi shirt on, because I'll be testing every day this week. So that's a good one-week championship to have for people who can come in, try and cut their teeth. A lower form of racing, and hopefully try and race in something that's a bit more professionally run, like this championship. But we need more than that. You know, just having something that's for Audi or for Porsche, it's still very expensive. You know, and we need cheaper bits, like maybe a smaller touring car championship for 1.6 litre cars.
Yeah, and I was thinking to myself, you know, like guys like Proton, they've sponsored rallies for quite a bit. But in Malaysia, we only have one really good rally driver, or so-called the winning one, Karamjit Singh. Other than that, I've not heard of any rally drivers anymore.
There were a couple other good ones, but they just didn't quite find the funding to push on. Right. Karamjit was also very good because Proton at that time were very big into rallying. Did quite a few big rallies around the world, and that kind of pushed Karamjit, gave him the chance to have the experience and to push him on to do some good things. After Karamjit, really the program kind of fizzled out. I know Proton are doing some stuff in rallying now. But it's very much an international program. And we kind of lost a good local rallying championship as well. You know, the Asia Pacific Championship is not the championship it used to be, and that was a great platform for young rally drivers and teams to show how good they could be on an international level, but racing locally. Right.
Okay. They have the Johor circuit, if I'm not mistaken, which is one of the rally circuits that they used internationally last time. Right?
Race circuit. Yeah. And Johor is one of the best circuits in the world, in my view, for driving. But unfortunately, like I said, it's not in a condition right now to be used for international races.
Now, Alex, you know, from your experience with F1, with Le Mans, and you have A1 racing and all that, right? To get guys in as sponsorship and all that, what are these guys looking for? Other than, you know, having their brand visible on your shirts or you know, your helmets, whatsoever, the cars and all. What are they looking for? What's the leverage they are going for?
They're looking for a return of investment. They're looking for exposure. You know, you pay the money to go racing. You want to see that exposure, and we're basically moving billboards. So I think people kind of understand that a little bit, but they're not really sure how to leverage off it as well. I think a lot of companies struggle to figure out how to leverage off seeing a car with a branding win a race. And I think a lot of people need to realize that you need to also have a budget to leverage off to activate that sponsorship. So even if your car wins the race, you still need to go make sure people know about it and come on to programs like this, or get the car on billboards and stuff like that. So that's not something that's maybe done to a great extent here yet.
Do you think it's the marketing techniques or the style that they are actually applying? Because you see, sometimes when you sponsor something, you gotta make sure that you go out there. TV is just like a leverage for you, but you gotta get out there and you know, shout at it.
And it's also a changing medium. The marketing. Like social media is used so much more these days, which is not something you'd consider too much a few years ago. But yes, you do need to go out and shout about it. And it can be lucrative, but you got to really try and capture the public's imagination, and there is a lot of background work that you need to do.
Right, we're going to take a short break, Alex, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about racing, all that and more after the break. Stay tuned.